So we'll call the EDC 4B meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. We have a quorum. The first agenda item is public comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the board on any matter. The board is not permitted to discuss or take action on any presentation made to the board. Presentations are limited to matters over which the board has authority. Speakers have up to 4 minutes or the time limit determined by the presiding officer. Each speaker must complete the speaker's forum, includes topics to be presented. Excuse me. Do we have any citizen presentations? None? No. Okay. So we'll move into regular session. Item number 1, take appropriate action regarding the EDC 4B meeting minutes held April 12th.
I move to approve.
Second. Well,
We have a second? Excellent. Let's take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Moving on to the second regular session item, take appropriate action regarding the fiscal year 2022 EDC 4B budget.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the corporation. My name is Mike Irwin. I'm the finance manager here at the town of Trophy Club, and we'll review this budget with you. First line, as we always look at, is the revenue line. You'll see a significant increase from last year's budgeted number, and that is really what we're seeing in the town. I estimate this year we may be at about $1,270,000 for the general fund, of which I'll collect about half that amount. So that's just a little bit lower than what I think that y'all will probably hit this year. But I feel like it's a good revenue estimate as long as the economy stays where it is, which is always a risk that you take. But I feel like we're pretty strong. You'll notice a miscellaneous revenue. The loan that y'all made to Trophy Table, he's drawn down considerable amount of the money. As Wade said, he's looking at a CO. Hopefully we can start receiving payments next year from him on the payment schedule that was set up. As we drop to the expenditures, and let me touch just a little bit on the 21 estimate numbers, because if you remember at the end of 19, start of 2020, there was a negative fund balance for the EDC at that time. It has built up, and you are doing well in your collections. If you think about it, over FY20 and FY21, you brought in close to $1.1 to $1.2 million. But there have been some expenditures that have hit this year. One is that incentive program, the $100,000, and then the $200,000 note. As you drop down below that, you'll see transfer to general fund, debt service reserve. I mentioned this earlier. The note that you took out, I think in 2014, one of the requirements was a debt service reserve fund of about 1 year payment. At the end of 19, that no longer existed. We noticed that this year, and we're putting it back in place. We expect to have it back to its funding level by September of this year, and have that taken care of, and have that obligation taken care of. Then if you look at the 22, there's one place we made an adjustment on professional outside services. We took that from about $4,000 to about $15,000. And the thought being, as we look at economic development deals, we may want to pull in some specialists and some experts to help us as we take a look at that. And so that was one of the major increases. Another increase was a transfer to the general fund. And what I'm trying to do is I looked across the town. There seemed to be some funds giving a lot, some funds not giving much. And I'm trying to get it between 7 and 10% of your revenues is your contribution to the general fund, which covers things such as Wade's salary, Letty's salary, my salary, processes such as that. And so that's why you'll see that go up from 30 to 40 this year. Again, this is your budget, and if that's something that y'all want to revert back, feel more than welcome to. But I was just trying to get it between 7 and 10% for all the funds contributing. That's the main part of it, and if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them. Just to give you a heads up on the loan that you made, as of today, we've written checks of $241,285. There's a remaining amount of $58,715, and as I mentioned, $17,382 are the unpaid second half of invoices where he's not been delivered yet, but he will take delivery, and so we know that we'll pay at least that much more. And it would not surprise me to see most all of the $300,000 spent in there. If you have questions, I'll be glad to answer. If you need clarification on anything, I'd be glad to do my best.
Just a quick question for me on that 297.
Yes, sir.
That is all for Trophy Table, correct? So that's
Yes,
the
sir.
297.
The deal was $100,000 plus $200,000.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit high, but I figure we'll end up close to that. Yes, sir?
It's great to see the total revenue creeping up there.
Yes, sir.
How is that allocated between bricks and mortar and at-home delivery? I mean, can you give us any detail on where's the extra revenue coming from? You attributed the good economy, but is it?
People like to shop online in this community.
God bless them, yes.
And with the new, and a perfect example, we were talking about this at CCPD. You know, think about a few months ago, say you bought a gun out of state and you don't pay sales tax. You buy that gun today out of state and you're going to pay sales tax.
Yeah.
There's a tightening up of making sure out-of-state purchases collect sales tax and remit them back. And we've seen that a whole lot. We've seen the big online retailer significantly increase, and then we've seen just some others increase also. I can't go into exact detail because of the confidentiality law of the state, but that's what we're really seeing is more than anything, it's the online, and then the people who were not collecting sales tax are now collecting sales tax. We'll keep our eye on this because your only revenue stream, for the most part, is the most volatile one we deal with, and it can change very quickly. But I feel like that's a safe number for this next year.
Great.
Yes, sir?
I had a couple questions for you. Fiscal year 2020 actual, there was a miscellaneous revenue of 64,000. Can you remind me what that was for?
An easement that y'all, I think to the mud.
To the
Yes,
mud.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just going down line items, advertising, obviously 2020 was kind of a shutdown.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing as far as advertising from an EDC standpoint?
You want some of that?
Yeah, I'll be.
So Jill Lind does a lot of the advertising for us for some of our open properties and things like that. But one of the major purchases that we make is we're a part of the chamber, the Northwest Chamber of Commerce, and they do a big video every year. They pay for some professional videographers to come in and do a video of our area, and we pay our portion of that, which pays a great portion of that. And as you see, we haven't spent it every single year to its fullest, but we have some deals we'll talk about in executive session. But past that, we really want to start using some of this EDC advertising money to advertise some of our existing businesses a little bit for them, to help them, especially these newer businesses, get some kickstart and hopefully continue to generate that tax revenue.
Some retention as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Wade. On the transfer to the general fund, you were mentioning it. You
Yes.
said 200 of that was the recapture that was missing from,
The
that we
debt
lost at
service
19?
reserve fund.
So
Yes.
200 of that?
Yes,
was
sir.
recap-
It's, the requirement in the official statement was 1 year debt service needed to be put aside. And so we're catching that up this year.
Okay. Did that trigger any type of default on that note by,
So far, no.
okay.
And we're going to take care of it.
Can you remind us what the repayment was on that? How much it was for, terms?
It runs somewhere around 200,000 a year. It started in 2014, so it probably a 20-year note,
It's under 20.
2034. Yes, sir. And it was land purchase. And
Those are my big questions. Thank
Okay.
you.
are there any other questions?
Off topic of your spreadsheet, but you introduced it, did you say the CO has been issued for Trophy Table?
Yes, sir.
It's not been issued. He's applied for the CO inspection.
Uh-huh.
He applied for that inspection today.
great
I know the fire marshal's already been out there for his CO portion today, and we're going to hopefully get the other done later this week.
That's great.
So we're looking at a 15th is his goal, to open up on the 15th.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's pretty close to what he planned.
Yeah, well done.
Not bad. All right. Any other questions? I think we're looking to approve this, correct?
Yes, sir. And it'll go into the town's proposed budget.
Any other questions? All right. I guess I'll make the motion to approve the proposed fiscal year 2022 EDC 4B budget.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
All right, I guess we'll move on to item 3, executive session. The executive session pursuant to the following designated sections of the Texas Government Code, annotated Chapter 551, Section 551087, Economic Development, deliberate negotiations regarding commercial prospects. So at 6:14, we will move into executive session.